There we go. That's the right thing I want to share. One sec. Blake's joining in too. Okay. So last week, SPY was down on the week. The only index that was up largely was the Russell IWM. So looking at that, you can see that on the weekly chart, go to the 1 year, you can see that we had a nice little push up after that previous gap up on the Russell, right? So it's making all-time highs. Doesn't really make a lot of sense given that we're seeing new lockdowns occur nationwide in the US and Canada, and I guess globally, really, right? So you should see these smaller companies get hit harder. But yeah, we'll just go in step and we'll look at the economic calendar for the week ahead. Keep in mind that this week, guys, is a short week. So we only have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday full trading. Thursday, the market's closed. And Friday is a half day. We close at 1 o'clock, right? So keep that in mind when you're buying options this week, because the time decay will be much more rapid. It's akin to trading like on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, essentially, when you're buying options tomorrow, right? So tomorrow we have in the morning for economic data, the Chicago Fed National Activity Index, followed by the Market Manufacturing PMI and the Market Services PMI. On Tuesday, we have the Case-Shiller National Home Price Index, followed by the Consumer Confidence Index. Then on Wednesday, we have all the big data because, as I mentioned, Thursday market's closed and Friday is a half day, right? So Wednesday, we have jobless claims, both initial and continuing, GDP revision, durable goods orders, core capital goods, advanced report on trading goods, new home sales, consumer sentiment index, personal income, consumer spending as well. Looks like someone just joined and I think their microphone is open. One sec. Get all again. There we go. Yeah. So pretty quiet week overall. Wednesday's a big day for data, obviously. And again, remember that Thursday market is closed and Friday is a half day. So if you're going to be buying weekly OPEX, make sure that you understand that the time decay will be much more rapid this week than it was last week or than it is on a normal week, right? So looking at the EMs and PMs for the week ahead as well. Let's look at that fast, right? So Apple has been trending downward right now. The interesting thing about this market activity is that the FANG names have been underperforming, right? So if you look at, like, for example, Facebook, right? So you can see that Facebook hasn't been doing well the past couple of weeks, right? It hit that high point near 300. Now it's at 270, almost down 10% in a couple of weeks, right? Looking at Amazon, right? Amazon has been consolidating in a small range as well. It's also down from that high a couple of weeks ago of almost, well, it was at the high of almost $3,600, but in the last couple of weeks, it's down now from the high, it's down about 8% or so, right? So pretty steep decline on both Facebook and Amazon. Netflix has been kind of flat, right? The past few weeks as well. Also down last week, it was up as well, obviously though. And then you have Apple, which has been underperforming too, right? So 2 weeks in a row, it's been down near 117. And I think if we get a bad movement in the market, you could see a lower range of 105 again on Apple pretty easily, because a lot of the catalysts have already passed by, right? Those key events with the new MacBooks, right? And obviously their iPhone launch too, right? And then we have Google, right? So Google's been down the last couple of weeks after hitting that high last week, right? So when the big names are underperforming and you're seeing the Russell outperform, it's interesting to look at because it means a lot of these, dog stocks are overperforming. For example, like NCLH, you have L Brands was performed well last week as well, right? They're the owner of Victoria's Secret. So big push up. And look at the longer term chart on L Brands, you can see that they're nowhere near their previous highs, right? They have room to run, but again, who knows how high they can run with current lockdowns, right? And the importance of lockdowns right now is that we're only about a month away from Christmas. So all this Christmas shopping and Black Friday shopping and Cyber Monday and whatever, right? Cyber Monday is online, but the in-store shopping for Black Friday will be largely non-prevalent in many major cities, right, because of lockdowns. So I know, like, for example, in Toronto, they locked down Toronto last week, which is the largest city in Canada. And basically, everyone had to rush to do their shopping yesterday and today because as of midnight tonight, everything is closed for non-essential businesses, right? And you got to wonder how that'll affect the retail numbers because a lot of these stores rely on that foot traffic to get rid of their inventory, right? So, I mean, if you're waiting for good deals, I'd probably wait till after Christmas to buy whatever you want to buy because a lot of things might be on sale further, right? Yeah. And so, yeah, let's go to the EM and PM sheet as well, right? So Apple for the week, the expected move is only about $4. Sorry, the potential move is only about $4. So not a large move, but again, keep in mind, it's only 3.5 days of trading. So the upper move would be 121, the lower move 113 or so. Only two big earning reports this week on the sheet. That is Deere, right? John Deere. And they have a PM of 5.7% or $14.93, upside 273.63, downside 243.77. I'll pull up that chart right now just to look at. So that's DE. So you can see over here that they've had a pretty nice run of late, but that could keep on going, obviously, as it's been very strong, right? So the upper range was, I think, 278 area, so new all-time highs. The lower range was 243 area, right? So keep an eye on that. That report comes out on, let me just see one sec. Whoops, my calendar by accident. John Deere is on, I think it's on Tuesday, I believe. Let me see. One sec. Yeah. Yeah, Tuesday pre-market, I believe. Dollar Tree reports as well, DLTR, and here is the cheat sheet as well again. The PM for the week is $9.16 or 9.6%. Upper move is 104.13, lower move is 85.81, and I'll pull up the chart on that as well, right? So DLTR, not delta, DLTR. So you can see it's been consolidating for the most part for a while now. You can see it's been in this pretty tight range overall, right? Between, like, I guess 105 area and like 85 really for most of the year. And it has an upper PM of 105 and lower PM of 85. So pretty much status quo, right? Lower end would be 85 area, upper end would be 105 area. And we'll see how it moves on their earnings report. As mentioned, the other FANG stocks, you have Amazon with a PM for the week of 4%. So upper PM would be 223.64. Lower would be 2974.78. You have Facebook as well over here. Lower PM would be 259.06, and upper PM would be, actually, is that correct? Yeah, that is, yeah, that's right. Because the PM is 1061 or 4% for the week, right? Upper PM is 280.28. And then you have Google as well, 3.3% potential move for the week, or $57 in one direction. So upper PM is around 1800, lower PM is around 1684. And then if you want to go with Netflix as well, they have a PM for the week of 4.5%. And upper PM is 410, lower PM is 466. Biggest PM for the week right now is Space. It's Neo and Virgin Galactic, right? And Zoom, right? So Neo reported last week. They were relatively flat after the report, burnt a lot of option premium. The PM for the week is $6.27 or 12.7%. Upside 55.52, which would set a new all-time high in the stock. Downside is around 43. Then we have Virgin Galactic, which deferred their test flight, obviously due to COVID I think they had about a 2-week delay roughly, but they'll be announcing that test flight date pretty soon. And the stock price recovered after that initial sell-off on Monday. So their PM for the week is 255 or 10.9%, upside 25.85, downside 20.75. And keep in mind that with Virgin Galactic, if it pushes to the upside, given that it's the second highest short interest stock on the market right now, if it pushes to the upside and we see it break above the area that it was at a few weeks ago, at 24.37 area, followed by 27.55 area, right? So keep an eye on these levels right here, right? This level right here and this level right here. If it breaks this level with volume and then pushes higher than this level over here, 27.55 area, basically you have clear skies ahead to all-time highs, right? And if you break 30, that's when you're going to see a lot of shorts cover, and you're going to see the stock price just scream to the upside, right? We've seen it happen with a few stocks like NIO, for example, right? Also with Tesla too, where you get that that short covering, rampant buying, and pretty much a huge imbalance of buying versus selling in the market. Where everyone is buying and no one's selling for the most part, and it just runs and runs and runs, and you can get a similar move to what happened back in January, February of this year, right? Where it went from basically $16 in late January up to $43 in middle of February. So in about a month time, it moved over 100%, right? And it's very possible here just because, again, once they had their test flight, that moves them one step closer to FAA approval, which moves them to the step of flying Richard Branson into space. I mentioned this numerous times already. But as we approach these milestones, the price will naturally go higher because a lot of these risk events are removed, right? That's the way the market works. So keep an eye on this. I know a lot of you guys sold your positions over the last few weeks. I'm still holding my leaps in it, and I don't plan on selling them because I do believe in this company longer term. It is still very speculative, obviously, because it's in the early stages right now, pre-revenue, but at the same time, that's where the big money is made as well, right? And then the other name we're going to discuss was, I think it was ZM as well. So ZM had a nice move on Friday, and they actually have a gap to fill above right now. So in the 1-year daily chart, there's a gap right over at 500 approximately, right? So given the lockdowns in the US, you may see a run back up to fill this gap at around 500-ish. That can happen pretty fast. We've seen pretty substantial runs in ZM in the past, right? So yeah, I would keep an eye on that as well, right? Other names to look at, there was NIO too. Yeah, NIO was over here, right? So last week, again, it closed up on the week overall, but it was kind of flat after earnings, right? The EM and PM were massive. I think it was about $14 in either direction, and it didn't move that whatsoever. So we may have a delayed reaction, right? Keep in mind also that XPEV, they actually had a large move on Friday to the upside. So we may have seen a lot of money flow from NIO into XPEV instead. And that could have been a reason why you saw a big push over here on news that they're releasing some new vehicles on Friday, right? So they actually had a launch of some new vehicles, right? Kind of like Tesla event, right? So similar move there, but a lot of buying and a lot of volume over there as well. Again, these are very speculative names, and I myself just, if I am playing them, I'm in and out of them pretty much intraday. I don't hang on to them overnight because they are very speculative, right? So keep that in mind. Otherwise, SQ is one I want to talk about as well, because last week they pushed to a new all-time high on Friday. Was it a new all-time high? No, it was just shy of an all-time high. It was about 40 cents shy of an all-time high, right? So you can see that they hit the all-time high on November the 6th at 201.33. And on Friday, we hit a high of 200.99. So only about 34 cents short of that all-time high. And I do expect Square to continue to go up, especially with Bitcoin, because they do have $50 million in Bitcoin at a much lower price. They've pretty much doubled their investment already at this point. Again, it's not a huge investment relative to their size of the company, because they're worth about $85 billion. But That being said, if it does keep taking off and goes higher and higher and higher, keep that in mind with regard to SQ's market cap, right? I'm looking at an upside move to around like 220, 230 perhaps in the next few months, as I do think that Square is going to push higher than their previous high and go up probably about 10% higher than that, right? So 220, 230 area in the next probably 2 months or so. So by January expiration would be my target. And I may be playing that with in the money contracts for January OPEX, right? Otherwise, there's also Piton, again, another stay-at-home name that got some lift on Friday with more lockdown news. So intraday on Piton, you saw a nice move up on Friday, right? Moved from about 104 up to 113 roughly. That was a great straddle. Obviously exited too soon there, but still a very nice move there, right, on Friday. So keep an eye on this too. A lot of nice volatile names like, NIO, Piton, you have Square, Virgin Galactic, ZM. There's a lot of names to trade that are really nice for trading on the momentum, right? One name I've been watching and holding on for a while now as well is Alibaba. And they had a nice day on Friday too, after numerous days in the red, right? So they spent about, it was like 5 days in a row to the downside, hit 252.55 area, and then we popped back hard on Friday on a little bit of volume, right? So look for a push back up, and perhaps we can see if we can break the 280 mark. That might be resistance over here now, right? Given that it's now support, previous wicks over here and here, right? And if we do break above 280, then obviously we can fill that gap at 290, 53 or so, right? So again, this week is a short week. My advice would be to look at positions that you have. If you are holding stock, it's not a terrible idea to sub premium out of the money, because you will collect a premium much faster this week than in normal weeks because of the 3.5 day market week, right? One last stock I want to look at too is RKT, Rocket Mortgages, right? They had a nice report a few weeks ago, and they're currently consolidating in this little range right here, right? So they're trading around $21 per share, and they were at about 28 bucks a couple months ago, right? Actually about 30, was it? Yeah, $30 and change over in September, right? So this little range, it's been consolidating in like over here between 23-ish and like, 18-ish. At some point, it's going to break out of this range, and it'll probably be to the upside. So you can see a move to like, fill that gap perhaps around 31 at some point. Again, it might take maybe 4 or 5 months to fill that gap, but I do think it will happen on Rocket. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today that I want to discuss. Not really anything that crystal clear in terms of ideas, but we can go over any questions you guys have, if you want to go over any questions at all. I'm going to cut the recording right now, just because obviously if any Q&A, anything personal shared at all. So have a great week, guys, and I'll stop the recording right now.